Houday Nation, what's up? It's Mock Turtle Soup Monday. Josh and Jeff here with Jungle Theater, episode 2. Thanks so much, everybody, for all the love we've gotten on the first episode. We're new here, like we said, but not new to Bengals fandom. It's our training camp preview, Mock Turtle Soup Monday.
Who knows
if you
what
don't
that
know
is,
what,
Jeff? Who
yeah,
knows
if
what
you
the Mock Turtle Soup is?
I honestly don't really know what Mock Turtle Soup is.
Throw it out there, though, right?
During this episode, we will get to the bottom of what is actually in Mock Turtle Soup, or maybe our commenters can throw it out there.
Like, is there actual turtle? Yeah, I understand. I got it. Sorry, I got distracted there, Jeff. Keep going, buddy.
You're good. You're good.
I got distracted by the turtles.
Yeah, no, every story of my life. We got 2 guys here with ADHD potentially. So, good luck with that. But
yeah, right.
At the end of the day, it's, Mock Turtle Soup Monday. It's been happening for as long as, Mike Brown's dad, since he owned the team, that they do this. But they meet with the media. The media luncheon happened today. And, there's Trey Hendrickson talk. There's Shemar Stewart talk. There is Dax Hill talk. There's Evan McPherson talk. There's BJ Hill talk. There's all these different. Zac Taylor met with the media. Dan Pitcher met with the media.
Mike Brown.
Most importantly, Mike Brown and Duke Tobin. And
we got a Desmond Ritter touchdown there in Cincinnati too.
Yeah, we call this Jungle Theater because of the drama, obviously, and there was a lot of drama today at Paycor Stadium. Josh, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with some good news, bad news? Trey Hendrickson, Shemar Stewart, where do you want to start?
Well, I think we established before, right? I mean, I'm more glass half full, right? You're half empty, so I'm gonna go with the half full. Let's go. Let's give them the good news first, Jeff. Why don't we throw that at our
and I think let's start with Trey Hendrickson, right? So there's some optimism out there, whether you follow Rap Sheet or Ricky the Dog on Twitter. Somewhere in between, it seems like there's been contracts made available, offers made available to Trey again. Rumors are he's in the suburbs of Cincinnati working out. He's in the area potentially. There's a lot of rumors swirling. I mean, how are you feeling? I know you predicted by the time we were here that there would be a contract in hand, I believe, on either Shemar or Trey. We're not there. You may be close on Trey, though.
Yeah, it was a Trey. It was a Trey guarantee. Not like a Chuck, like a Barkley guarantee, but I mean, it was a guarantee. I saw, Jeff, really what I saw coming were 2 things. We had, the Stewart thing going on, and we've got Trey Hendrickson, right? So I thought at the time, the smart money, my money is on Trey, right? I'm thinking we're signing Trey. We're going to move away from a guy that plays in college or that played in college, hasn't taken a snap of an NFL down, and is demanding that part of his contract be guaranteed money, which I totally understand the argument there. I get that. And I know we're starting with the good, but I just went on a tangent, Jeff, because, the clause that he's bluffing at is a behavioral clause, which is not uncommon. It's not uncommon. This is not some practice that's new. It's just new to the Bengals. It's new to any kind of contract that we've really started throwing in. So I think you're starting to see Mike Brown pull things a little bit more away from everybody else, maybe a little bit more in his ball, maybe more in his court, Jeff, right? And I think he's taking the reins with this a little bit. And he's saying, get this crap done. Get this shit done. Get these contracts signed. Let's move on. Let's get into camp. Let's have everybody in a jersey. Day 1, let's get it done. But he's not seeing it. So I think he's kind of starting to pull things his way. And now we're starting to see movement on Trey. And I thought that would happen a little bit earlier than this, but it just didn't.
Well, and I mean, Mike Brown, he didn't pull any punches today. I mean, he was pretty honest. He's like, hey, Trey's a pain in the ass to deal with, but that's okay. Right. Yep. And
that he
gets emotional. Yeah, he negotiates hard. He gets emotional, and that's okay. And, I'd rather him care than not. There's rumors out there that, as of, again, we're live right now, or if you're listening in podcast form, he may have signed a contract by the time you're listening to this in audio form. But as we sit here right now, it's not. But Ian Rappaport has said multi-year deal. So that's at least 2, right? I think Trey wants 3. I've been thinking about what I would offer. And I mean, at this point, the Bengals know they could have had him for 30 back in January, maybe even less than that. Now I think 35-ish is probably what's going to take to get it done. Is it 3 years at 35 AAV with 70 guarantees, essentially like a 2-year guaranteed contract? Does that get it done? I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that's all, that's all good. But I think the fact of the matter is that Trey just needs to get it done. Okay. The only thing that I'm worried about, Bengals wise, fans wise, right? That all of you that are watching the 10, right, Jeff, that are watching this or catch this live, listen, Trey's dealing with a really, really tough organization. He's dealing with a really tough owner, right? The thing is Trey ain't backing down. Okay. But what I don't want, and I'm going to apologize in advance to all of the Sam Hubbard fans out there, because I love Sam Hubbard, probably one of my favorite Bengals since probably Whit. Okay. Whitworth was just the same kind of character guy, in my opinion. But I think what we ended up with Hubbard was what we're looking at with what we're looking at with Trey, right? I mean, I think what Trey's probably looking for is a little bit more than the Bengals are willing to give him because of age. I really do. I believe that, he's probably got 1-2 years left in him. And then past that, are we stuck with the Sam Hubbard where we're going to have to eat that, right? So,
well, I mean, you think about it like this, in the NFL, a 3-year deal is a 2-year deal. A 2-year deal is a 1-year deal, right? So if you see that 3-year deal come through, like, don't freak out about that if you're worried about. And again, it's not my money. They've got cap space to spend. They need to use it. And they may have more than that if Shemar Stewart doesn't show up. We'll get there. But I think I am a Mr. Pessimist, but I do feel more confident that a deal gets done with Trey. I don't think it'll be done by the start of camp.
I got to stop you right there. So here we go. Here's one of our first live arguments. So I predicted this last week that there was going to be a deal done really, really soon, possibly before camp. And now you're like, I feel good.
Well, Mike Brown talked today. I mean,
you got to be like, yo, you got to throw the credit my way. Who? Ian Rappaport, who? Ian Rappaport, who, dude?
Well, nothing's done, but I'm saying when we last talked, Mike Brown, he talks once a year. Yeah. And today he said, I mean, I'm reading his quotes right now. Hendrickson's proven, I can read it in a Mike Brown voice, proven to be an important player.
I was going to say, he might wake up twice a year.
Yeah.
Too, right?
But he's already asleep, and that's fine. He's a valuable player. He makes a difference. We want to get him signed. I don't despair of it. It's difficult. We get to this point in the year, and there's always Chase to sign, or there's Joe Burrow to sign. This year, it's Hendrickson to sign. He's saying, look, we signed Chase. We signed Joe. We're going to get this done.
Yep.
Now, my question is, you kind of had predicted, hey, by 9 o'clock on 7/21, it would be done. It's not done. So I'm allowing you to make a new prediction.
Okay.
One, he is under contract. So Duke Tobin, another little nugget here is, Duke Tobin, which I don't know why they run that guy out on the microphone. I don't think it helps anything, but we'll get there on another topic.
He needs some PR help. You're right. I think
I don't get why they do it, but he said, I think everybody that's under contract needs to show up. And Trey's under contract. Does Trey Hendrickson, if the deal's close, right? Let's say they're within a couple $1 million.
Okay.
Does he show up and do a Shemar where he's there in a cap, he's going through meetings, or is he just away from the team until a deal's signed? What do you think? And then when does that deal actually happen? I guess two-part question.
Here's my prediction. Okay, so here's what I would say about that. I think Trey is an incredible player, but I think he's equally as competitive a man as can be. I don't think that he's going to be able to watch his entire team out there on that practice field busting their butts all the way through minicamp while he sits there and loses money by not taking a contract that the Bengals have actually stretched now, right? I mean, according to to the reports today, it looks like they may have extended it a little bit more, so they're getting a little bit closer to the money. I'm sure it's still about some guaranteed, Jeff, right? Because we were just talking about the age, right? The 3-year contract's really a 2 or really a 1. So you gotta throw that in there. But I think I'm very confident that Trey will be done very, very shortly. I mean, I think that the Stewart thing that came out today, I honestly think that that helped the Trey, and we can get into that later when we talk about him. But I actually think that was partly helped with the movement on the trade deal.
Yeah, I mean, there's some optimism with Trey, and I mean, the one thing we got to watch out for with Trey is Does he show up on Pat McAfee tomorrow? Does he post something to Instagram? Does he do something through his agent? Hasn't happened up to this point, which I would think, because of how close things are, if Trey was going to rebuff and say, what is Mike Brown talking about? The old man's lost it. We haven't been talking. None of that's come out yet. And if we get into tomorrow midday and that still hasn't come out, I think we're in the clear. And so what Mike Brown is saying is actually factual. And I mean, I don't like the Bengals, like a deadline, like dates move things with them. Like the deadlines are there. Like there's people in the air. They're like, all right, now we've been hard asses all year. Now we got to come. It burned us probably by a couple million, but they know what they can and can't do. Like they're not stupid. I think Jeff, he said a deal's going to get done against that.
As a Bengal fan, I mean, we're used to getting that burnt on that cap, right? I mean, we get burnt. We should have re-signed Bates, right? We missed out on that. We could keep going down the list, and we keep, we beat that dead horse, but it's pointless at this point. It's kind of like what we were talking about in the intro. It's like a Bengal fan, right? You just kind of come to expect something like that. So this is like something that you come to expect, right? You expect to come into camp with some kind of adversity going on, but I don't remember, and this is just because I've got the memory of a goldfish, and we'll get there too. But Jeff, I don't remember the last time that we haven't had an off season, some kind of turmoil or something going on, whether it's a Joe Burrow injury or a holdout, or let's say some kind of police involvement in their lives, right? I mean, tell me the last time you can remember that didn't happen, because that's like the Bengals fan, right? So if I'm moving into this and I'm talking about all this, I'm way more calm than I would have ever been 10 years ago, because I'm like, yeah, I mean, this is nothing compared to like 3 tendons and like hoping that Joe Burrow can throw, the ball 10 yards.
Yeah. Like, oh, watch him. And you're right. It's always something. And like there's at least talent on the team. They've won a little bit. I think people forget they've had a winning record, the last 4 seasons, right? Obviously the last 2, not what you wanted, but with injuries and things like that. But when you've got good players, this stuff happens. And so maybe we put Trey. So bold prediction, is Trey done by camp by Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock in the morning?
I think Trey's locked up by the end of business tomorrow.
I'm going to say, I'm going to actually probably agree with you that, because I agreed, Josh went completely dark on the screen. So I may have shocked him into losing his camera connection there, but that's okay, because we're going to make a quick pivot. And while Josh maybe gets back on the screen here, there he comes. Let's just give you a little bit, for those of you watching this, of where you can find Jungle Theater on social media, YouTube. So obviously you're watching this on YouTube, but it's at Jungle Theater Podcast on YouTube, at Jungle Theater Podcast on YouTube. At Jungle Theater Podcast on Instagram, at Jungle T Podcast on Twitter. That's where you can find us. So Josh, I think you're back in here. I'm going to unmute you. You're back live. Yeah.
I apologize. No, for that. We
gave me an hour.
Our bandwidth is super fast here in Frewsburg, New York. We got more cows here than we do have people in this town. So, yeah. Sorry about that. It's
all good. That gave me a perfect opportunity to give us a little commercial there. So,
okay.
And again, thank you for all the love on YouTube. We really like and subscribe there. It really helps us. It can help us get the word out probably more than anything else. And, we're doing this for fun, but, maybe one day we can retire doing this if we get good at it. So there's a question here in the chat from G Rides. Do you guys think Shemar Stewart isn't signing because of his high demand due to the fame and money he got from college? So I think this is maybe going into the NIL and all the things there. And maybe I'll start there.
You probably should. I think you probably should take this one right now. Start it.
I'll take this and say, I don't think so. Right. I think that if you look at his representation, Zac Taylor, I've done a little bit of research into this. Zach is the same agent for James Cook for Bills fans. So in Josh's neck of the woods, right? Same agent for him. And then Zay Flowers from the Ravens dropped this same guy. He doesn't have a lot of representation in the NFL. And if you go back and watch Todd McShay from back during the draft, there were rumors that this guy was going to be difficult to deal with. And, the Bengals, they don't really care about that. I mean, see David Mulligetta, right? How many guys have we lost because of that?
Yep.
T had to fire him so we could get him. So I think Shemar Stewart's getting some bad advice. Duke Tobin, I don't always agree with what he said, but he said today, he goes, I think we're treating him fairly. I think he's getting bad advice. And he goes, I don't agree with the advice, right? He's just like, doesn't understand like where that's coming from. So I think that's where it comes from. I do think, Shemar Stewart obviously was well compensated to play at Texas A&M. Don't have any clue what that was, but the way I view college athletics is essentially pro now. Like, major D1 college football, like the best players are making, 7 figures. They are. And that's and again, that can change, and that's a debate for another show, but you're nuts. Shemar Stewart's nuts that he has a fully guaranteed contract if he doesn't go to prison, essentially is what Mike Brown said.
Yep.
Now, when he gets it is all, hey, I want the 50%, the 75%. So Josh, kind of bringing you in here on Shemar Stewart, like it's not about the money at this point. It seems like the agent may have an axe to grind with the Bengals. I just think they've gone about it in the wrong way. And now it's blown up in their face.
Yeah. I think I've got some strong opinions on the whole Stewart thing. But I'll tell you this: he is getting horrible advice, or he's what his interview was. I mean, did you watch his interview? Right. And the interview to me was kind of, I mean, it was off-putting, man. I mean, I watched that and I thought to myself, I don't know that I want that, walking into the locker room day one, right? I mean, he's got his nose in the air, and I'm not bashing the guy. I'm just saying what I thought through the video and the interview. But he seemed like he came off, and again, maybe he got bad advice on how to come off or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, watch it back and back. To me, if that walked into where I work, right, and I'm hiring that, I'm looking at that going, I don't know if that's a valuable member of my team, because I don't know if that's the attitude I want to bring into the locker room. Now, do I want a Trey Hendrickson or a Sam Hubbard attitude in the locker room? Hell yeah. Give me those guys any day. Yeah. Do I want that kind of an attitude? No, I don't. And I don't care. Honestly, I don't care. And this is going to be an overstatement, but I don't care if you're Michael Jordan, right? Like, you should not walk in like that. It's almost like Travis Hunter, right? It's similar. And I think.
And I mean, like, I think there's a multitude of issues here, right? And I think there's bad advice. I think that I don't know how much Shemar Stewart wants to play for Cincinnati, whatever, right? And I think he's got to be very careful here, because, like, at some point, if I'm Shemar Stewart, I'm like, look, so you're telling me if I sign a contract, I get half my signing bonus, which is several $1 million, like now?
Yep.
At some point, like, do you want to play football? Everybody else has done it, and I get it. Like Mike Brown I think he did a great job. He's taken some heat for it, but I think he did a great job of basically explaining it to the fans that unless he goes to prison, that we're going to pay him. He's like, it's never happened before in his entire, like, since the Bengals have been since 1968, It's never happened. And so we're talking in hypotheticals of if Shemar Stewart goes and does what was the guy's name from the Raiders that like killed somebody in a DUI, like Henry Ruggs? Yeah. Like, yeah, maybe. But like, what are the odds? Like, don't do that. And like, I want to get into this because I sent this to you before the show, but they did have on, they had a guy by the name of Jake Rosenberg, and he used to be in the front office for the Philadelphia Eagles. And this was recently, he posted a couple things on Shemar Stewart was what they're asking the Bengals isn't unusual. It's just a change, right? The language that they're saying is just a change.
The Bengals. Yep.
It's easier to take the player's side when fighting for upside, not protection of downside. So if they're talking more of what Shemar could be versus what he could not be, that's what so they're arguing about this in the wrong manner. And even if the guarantees void the money, he can still earn it. So like they could still agree that, hey, we'll pay you. This is a technicality, or maybe you got in trouble and then you got out of it, right? We can still pay it. And then Jake says, I understand hating that it's a downgrade in language from a prior year for other contracts, right? So see Amarius Mims.
Yeah.
But when you take it in its totality, it's not a difference in total money. He can be pissed and remember for his next deal, right, when he wants to re-sign with the Bengals, but get to work. Defaulting is 100% in the player's control. Just don't do it, right? And I think that's where we are. That's my point is, do you think, Josh, and you can go on a riff about this just like I did, does Shemar Stewart even want to play football in the NFL? Is he ready
who
for
knows?
that?
Who knows? I mean, I think maturity wise, he's not. I mean, that interview, like I said, that was a clear sign to me of immaturity. Okay. And we all understand that these people are young. I mean, we're all a certain age and
he's 21 years old.
He's coming to the NFL, right? And I mean, he's got boatloads of money coming out of college and he's stepping to the NFL. I mean, the money thing is going to become a thing in about 3 or 4 years. We'll be talking about this in 3 or 4 years about how many holdouts we have in camp because of, that money in college, but that's a whole different episode.
Yeah, that's a different
whole different 3-hour conversation. Yeah. But I think that the way that he's attacking this, the way that he came off on that, to me, like I said, team, right? I'm all about team, man. But when I look at that, it's like shades of Vantes, right? Or shades of like. And I'm not saying that the guy is going to get in trouble or anything, because as a matter of fact, Jeff, he's never been in trouble in his life.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's the thing is,
like, I think that they should be making that more clear when they're doing interviews, when they're talking online, when they're, I mean, this man is not somebody who has been in a bunch of trouble.
No.
So, I mean, the problem is there too, is like, okay, well, why are you balking at this when you've never been in trouble, dude? So if you've never been in trouble, then what the hell's the problem? Why sign a damn contract, get on the field?
And Demetrius Knight, the second round pick, obviously second round picks are trying to change the game. They're good for them. Go get your money, all that stuff. So the argument was about this default language and they put it in Demetrius Knight's contract and he signed it. So now they can come back to Shemar and say, well, it isn't about the language. I think it's about signing bonus money, which the Bengals typically give you 50% up front. And then the rest happens at another time. He wants 75. I don't think the Bengals are going to budge. If they had operated differently, I don't think they budge because they don't have to, especially if they get Trey in camp. Because, look at their last several years of first-round picks, like the Dax Hill, Miles Murphy, they weren't really counting on those guys to be high. So they're not counting on Shemar Stewart if Trey Hendrickson's in camp, right? But I do think that the Bengals, because of the way Shemar's representation played this, they're not going to budge. Had they gone a different direction and played it behind the scenes, the Bengals would probably be willing to say, hey, we're going to put this language in, but we're going to give you 75% up front. And a signing bonus, is that cool, right?
And like I said, I think that's a product of just immaturity with the response and the video and the way that he responded. I mean, I'm sure.
I think it's the agent. I think the agent's immature.
I think it could be too, but I mean, you still are who you are, Jeff. I mean, if you're going to tell me to go in there and be a hard ass, I might go in there and be a hard ass when I'm dealing with him, but I'm going to do it in my own way. I mean, I'm still going to do it in my own way. I'm not going to sit there and I understand what the agent's job is. I really do. But you can also do what you'd like to do, right? You can also, it's a give and take. It's not just the agent telling you what you need to do. So if Stewart wanted to be on the field, to answer your previous question, he wanted to be on the field, be on the damn field, dude.
Yeah. And I think, who knows where this goes? I do not think I call me a pessimist, but I'm a realist. There's no way that dude's in camp on Wednesday.
Yeah. No so way. That was the negative, right? You're talking about, we started with a positive and a negative, right? That's the negative. I agree. And here's the thing, I am I'm glass half empty there, buddy. I agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah. So we got Trey, we got Shemar taken care of. Maybe let's talk some quick hits on the field. We got a question in chat from Greta. Thanks for coming back a second time, Greta. Great to see you back. We'll get to your question here as we wrap up towards the end, and it's around Money Mac. So and we'll come to Josh on that one. But let's start with some more positives. So Dax Hill, who's projected to be starting cornerback this year, BJ Hill, projected to be starting defensive tackle. Both are medically cleared to play. BJ didn't really know what his injury was. I think it was minor. Obviously, Dax Hill's coming off an ACL injury. But your thoughts about Dax Hill getting a full camp in, coming off an ACL surgery just 9.5 months ago?
I mean, they're going to have to take it slow with Dax. I mean, that's how it's going to go. And I think Dax, you and I have tossed back Dax Hill's name about 15 different times in 15 different ways, right? I mean, sometimes Dax Hill looks freaking absolutely amazing, right? Shutdown. And then the next week we're like, who is this, right? So, I mean, I think that inconsistency has kind of hurt us, but, coming back from that, you're just going to take it slow. And I think you saw some of the secondary develop a little bit towards the end of the year, Jeff. And I think that might have been some scheming. That might have been the fact that Joe is pouring 40 down people's throats every week. That might have a lot to do with a lot of it. But you brought up a point that I want to talk about, because you know me with CBT. I'm a CBT guy. 2 years ago, I thought CBT was one of the best in the league right now. Right now, the plays that you see him make on the field, Jeff, that one-handed back behind his head pick. I mean, he pulls these plays out every once in a while, but then sometimes he looks lost, right? He looks like they're just burning him down the field, right? So I'm excited to see him. I am. I'm excited for him to come into camp. I'm excited to see what he's got. I'm looking for a bounce back year this year. And I think if he bounces back in that secondary, man, that's huge. Very big. Now, I don't want to downplay the whole Dax Hill thing by any means, because, like I said, that's going to be a great player. And Dax could be a great player. But you can't rush it back on that. We're going to take a real with them.
But I think the good news there is he's not on the PUP list, the physically perform. Yeah. He's able to, and we'll see where he goes. But I think that it seems like
what I'm saying,
Yeah. Golden seems like he's going to simplify things for these guys. And like the talk has been with, you're talking Cam Taylor-Britt, DJ Turner, Dax Hill. Are these guys interchangeable, right? Sometimes they're outside, sometimes they're inside. I think that's going to be a value of what they can do. So that's something I'm looking for. We talked about, getting you ready for training camp Wednesday morning, 10 o'clock. And think about this. You have Burrow, Chase, and Higgins. So if you're the defenders, what a great way to get, baptism under fire. Haven't had that for a while, right? Yep. Whether it's been Chase holding in, T hurt, Burrow hurt. Now you got them all. Hopefully, knock on wood, everybody. I mean, I'm just assuming like everybody's got to stay healthy or we're screwed anyway. But like getting these guys some reps against live ammunition.
Too, man. But listen, I agree with you. And I think you were kind of just alluding to it just a little bit there, is the fact that, because like we've talked about, the Bengals fans, of course the Bengals, of course the Bengals. When was the last damn time that we went out and we paid money? We paid big money for Chase. We paid big money for T. We're looking at
Orlando Brown
for Trey. We're looking at Orlando Brown. I mean, we're looking at huge contracts. When in the last 10 years have you ever seen, Jeff, I'm asking this as a question. Yeah. Tell me in the last 10 years where you have seen that in the same year, right? The same year.
The only time the Bengals have ever paid big money have been to elite of elite players. And I mean, we have to go back to the AJ Greens, the Chad Johnsons, the Carson Palmer the first time through. Obviously different money than it is today, but comparatively speaking, if you're elite at your position and the Bengals drafted you, they typically keep you. I don't think that they felt T was necessarily as elite as Joe Burrow did, and we saw who won that, right? So, which I think was the right move, but they don't traditionally do that, and I'm fine with it if you got to hit the draft picks though, right? And so look at the defensive side of the ball, like Miles Murphy. Here's what I'd like to see, right? And now we're just kind of riffing, which I love. This is what we do. Miles Murphy, make it be Saturday. We don't even talk about Shemar Stewart because you look so good.
It's funny you bring him up too. I mean, we're talking
Joseph
about
Osai, right?
We're talking about Shemar Stewart, right? And then at the same time, you just brought up, Miles Murphy, right? Joseph Osai. I mean, those are two guys that can step right in there. I mean, we saw towards the end of the year, Jeff, those guys were different people. I mean, Murphy still had his problems. I mean, I think I saw him struggle a little bit, but Joseph Osai, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he went the last 4 games with 3 sacks or something like that. So he was putting pressure on the quarterback too. So if I'm Shemar Stewart, I'm not going to sit back and be really comfortable in my chair either, because, your chair's getting a little bit warm. Those guys are rotational players. Those are rotational ends. But at the same time, if we have to make do, you got two guys that you can rotate right in there. Now that's assuming that you have Trey Hendrickson. But if you don't have Trey Hendrickson, then that's next man up. That's got to be the mentality. The mentality's got to be next man up. Listen, we're going to prepare for the preseason like they're signed. Okay. Yep. And we have to accept that. And then when it comes time for the preseason, if they aren't there, we play like they're going to be there anyways. And guess what? If they're not there, Jeff, they're not there.
And I'm scouring social media just to make sure there's no Trey Hendrickson news, Shemar Stewart, obviously. But I think one thing that I did see going back to Mike Brown and talking about all this, the Bengals fans actually are on the side of Mike Brown, which is rare. Yeah. So if I'm the organization, you have an opportunity right now, because the fans hate Shemar Stewart right now. Right or wrong, they are 95% against the guy. They can see where he's coming from, but they just feel like he's handled the wrong way. The outburst he had in the locker room, he's done. Maybe before he gets started. But Mike Brown, if you go sign Trey Hendrickson tonight or tomorrow on I'm not saying go do $40 million a year.
You can't.
35 is my cutoff. But if you do that, you talk about getting goodwill.
Jeff, you can't hit TJ money. We can't afford TJ.
But good, I'm talking goodwill with the fans.
Yep. No, right? I got you. Yep.
You spent all off season getting that back, and then imagine if Trey Hendrickson's there Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. No one's talking about Shemar Stewart.
No,
none. No. Hey, you get there when you get there. You either sign it or you don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at the point now, right? Like we just talked about at the beginning of the show. Is it is what it is, right? We need to just move on. I think that Mike Brown set the table for us perfectly today, Jeff. I saw that press conference, that presser. That was awesome. I loved seeing that. That I have that soft spot in my heart for him. But there were a couple things that stood out to me. If you don't mind me pointing out a couple.
Yeah,
things.
Let's do it.
I mean, when he says that this is pure, and I'm quoting, this is pure foolishness. This should be done by now. Who's he talking to, Jeff? Is he talking to Shemar? Is he talking to Duke? Who's he talking to?
I think he's talking to Shemar Stewart's side of things. I don't think he's talking
that his presser was to make a point at all. So let's go back just a little bit.
Well, I mean, maybe indirectly, but if you're Duke and you're dealing with what seems like Zac Taylor seems kind of incompetent.
Yeah.
Right. So even if Duke is saying hey, all this stuff, right. Or his daughter is probably doing the negotiation. Katie is, I don't know that he's saying it's foolishness on their end, because at the end of the day, it's like them talking to a wall,
right?
They're not getting through to that representation. So what he's saying is this is foolishness, because you're talking in hypotheticals of literally a crime where you're in prison. This isn't
he followed that up with a direct quote of, discipline. And he shook his head. Do the voice, Jeff. Do discipline.
Yeah. I mean, wow.
Right. So
Shemar, it's fine.
Listen, he follows it up with discipline, guaranteed money, dispute, and we've never been in trouble. What's the big deal? This is foolishness. It should be done. Quote unquote, Mike Brown. Okay. So that is, to me, man, I mean, you're talking about being on the side of Mike Brown right now. I was on the side of him, man.
Rare that I am, but I'm with you. And I think some people, they took it the wrong way. Of course, on social media, whatever.
Yeah.
About him actually using an example. We talked about this earlier, but I think it was sometimes you just have to talk to people in layman's terms, normal language of he's talking about if he goes to prison. Right. And I don't think you can make it more clear than he's basically saying if he goes to jail, I don't want to pay him.
Right. But is that unreasonable, Jeff? Let's talk about
if I go to jail, I don't think my company wants to pay.
Let's talk about us. You're right. I go to prison or I go to jail. Am I going to get my salary the next year or that year? Hell no, man. I'm fired, right? I mean, come on. I just don't see it. I mean, a guy that's never been in trouble.
Or even if we're a contract. I'm not a contracting worker, but if you were, there's default language in a contract that says if you, and I mean, like in the NFL, in order for you to not like get paid, like you really have to mess up. So I think it goes back to that. Hey, they're using like the hypothetical of a worst case scenario when they should be using the hypothetical of how great he could be and how we want to protect him. And just in case somebody bad comes into his life and does something wrong, like, and that could have all been done behind the scenes. It's been aired out. And quite frankly, more people know who Shemar Stewart is than should. And I hate it for him because he's likely to be known as a bust than he is to be a player on the field, and he's never even seen the field yet, no matter what he does the rest of his career.
Right. And we're playing armchair quarterback, right? I mean, we're making assumptions that aren't even there, right? I'm telling you how I feel about one thing. You're telling me how you feel about something else, right? About the way, posture, the way somebody's saying something or something like that. I mean, of course, we're playing armchair quarterback here until we know the proof is when he gets on the field, right? Is he that guy, right?
If he sacks Joe Flacco 3 times in week 1, you won't hear a word. I'll be the first one here saying he's the greatest player ever. But you know what? You got to actually be there at some point. You got to want to play football. I don't know that he wants to play football. So with that, let's move on from him. I want to address Greta's. Let's hit maybe some quick hits here,
let's do that.
And then we'll wrap it up. But let's go to the special teams because they don't get enough love. So Greta asks, what do you think Evan McPherson's season is going to look like this year? Do you think we're going to get back to our old money back? And before you answer, I read today, Darren Simmons revealed that Evan McPherson hurt his ankle during the spring.
Yes, he did.
And he recovered. Come on, Evan. You gotta make some kicks, dude. I think he will, but
I mean, I hear you. I mean, I'm a big money Mac guy. But Jeff, I want you to tell me, because you are a savant. How many games last year? And we always say this. Did he cost us? It doesn't cost us. I mean, we all know that, right? There's how many plays during a football game, but how many games can we legit say this cost us the game? Which then, of course, cost us the playoffs, because all we needed was one game, right? 2 games. One of them was that Baltimore game, correct? How many
home against? I mean, I'm not even going to blame Evan necessarily. I think the whole the kicking operation. Let's just say.
I agree. But Evan's got to put those in, man. I mean, that's his job. He's paid to put the ball between the pipes. He's got to do it. Okay.
I mean, and it's the NFL, right? But they cost us home against Baltimore.
Yep.
At LA.
Yep.
If they win, even if you win one of those 2, you're in the playoffs. Yep. You win 2, you're maybe in the division. I don't know. You're at least a top 5.
At that point in the season, Jeff, when we started getting to that point where we were like, all right, man, I mean, it might be doable if something freaky happens, right? At that point right there, if you would have asked any NFL fan, if there's any NFL team that you do not want to see make the playoffs and play them round 1, they would have said the Bengals. Nobody wanted
go watch the Denver game. It was unbelievable. They knew what was coming. But does it surprise you that they're not even going to bring in somebody to push McPherson in camp?
It does. I mean, I guess the respect is there. Maybe they're just trying to take a look at what they have. I don't doubt that there's a backup plan though, Jeff, somewhere. I mean, I don't think that they're.
I'd rather have him standing right next to him. That might put a little pressure on him to make some kicks.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of guys that are doing a lot of work in the offseason trying to make NFL teams. So, I mean, there's, we went to, I have my favorite shirt says what, that's why you draft the kicker, Money Mac, right? Well, we didn't draft him to miss the kicks, right? So there's a lot kicking around down there that maybe we didn't draft, they wouldn't have missed the kicks. And I'm not saying that that's all on Evan. You're right. That is on the kicking game.
This isn't a revisit of last year, but I do think.
No. I told I'm
6 of 12. All right. 6 of 12. He missed 6 kicks under 50.
I know.
That's not going to get it done. I don't know how much more simple to make that. And
Well, these are kicks with on the line too, Jeff.
We have a comment here that says, I thought Cade York was the kicker. I sure as hell hope not. Money Mac, you got to stay healthy. Cade York with the missed 31-yarder against Denver, for those of you who remember that. We do not want to see him coming back. So so hopefully, Greta, we have confidence in Money Mac, but trust me, he misses a kick week 1. We will be right here ripping him, no doubt about it. Some other things that were out there, I think Dan Pitcher talked about the offensive line a little bit. Dylan Fairchild, strictly left guard.
Yep.
And right guard sounds like a competition. Lucas Patrick, Cody Ford. Maybe a Matt. Maybe one of the young guys, Matt Lee, is bulked up. Maybe he can move the guard a bit.
That's there on Rivers. That you see that stat on Rivers. The percentage of pressures he allowed in college. You know what that was?
No,
I think it was like 97%.
Yeah. 97%. I mean, you're all in on the guy. I hope so.
Oh, 100%.
Maybe he could be. Hey, maybe he's the swing. Maybe he's the swing
guy. He's rotational. He's important. That's important at that line, and to be able to go left to right in that line is big.
Last thing on Darren Simmons, he said Charlie Jones and Jermaine Burton are going to see time as kick returner. Dude, I mean, that's pretty dangerous kick return duo there.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Charlie Jones can make. I want Burton to take the jobs.
I
want him to be wide receiver 4, number 1 kick returner, number 1 punt returner. Charlie Jones is what he is. Now,
I'll go ahead and say it for you, Jeff. Jermaine Burton needs to grow up. He needs to grow up. He's in the NFL. He's in the NFL. He needs to study a playbook. He needs to get on the same page as his quarterback. And when your quarterback tells you, I have faith in you, catch the damn ball or run the right route, okay? Or don't get off the field, okay? He can be a tremendous asset and a crazy weapon if we get him on the field. I agree with you 100%. But he's one of those guys, he needs to grow the hell up, Jeff. He needs to get on the football field. He needs to watch them. He has to. I mean, have you heard anything about Burton right now? Anything?
Good. I don't want to.
That's what I'm saying.
To be watching. I want to see 81 catching one-handed balls, returning kicks.
That's all I want to see.
All I need him to be is wide receiver 4 and a kick returner.
Yep. No, I hear it. That's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, you got to
give me a 35-yard kick return.
I don't want to hear anything about you, Jermaine Burton. Listen, grow up a little bit. If I don't hear about you through minicamp, that's excellent. Awesome. I mean, that's a win for us. Keep it going. Let's see what happens in the season. Let's see if Joe
go catch 2 touchdowns in the 3rd preseason game and then go to Hard Rock Casino and be on Instagram Live. We don't need that.
Yeah.
He did say, was it Kelsey Conway was on the other day on 1530, and she said, I don't know if I told you this, but she was on the a interview, and she said during the draft she was at Paycor Stadium and the only player that was there was Jermaine Burton. She saw him in there and she's like, hey, Jermaine, how are you doing? She's like, funny seeing you in here on a Saturday. He's like, I got to stay on my same schedule. I have to stay on my same schedule. Good. It can't change. So, that's 3 months ago. And I mean, he knows somebody's been in his ear. TJ Ushmanzada is his mentor, but man, you talk about this. And I had a friend of mine, he said, Jermaine Burton is our he goes, Jermaine Burton is our 1st-round pick. Shemar Stewart's gone. Forget him. Jermaine Burton is going to end up being our 1st-round pick with the impact he's going to make this year.
I'll tell you what. He's not wrong. That's a great way of looking at it. Yeah, he's not wrong. Can
we right the wrong, right? Does Jermaine Burton become your number 1 and Shemar Stewart becomes your 3rd-round bust? I know it doesn't work that way in terms of money, but I guess maybe, yeah. Let's end on this.
It works that way with almost anybody though, Jeff, right? I mean, anybody that steps up and has a huge season, that's how it works. But this is rare, right? Because we're talking about Jermaine Burton, who could quite possibly be sitting in a recliner right now watching this and not playing this year, right? Because of trouble that he gets into or the things that he doesn't do or variety of reasons, right? The fact of the matter is that we have gone through an entire off season with no word on him. So he's part of the conversation with us, right? He's on my radar at least. And I know we're all big on him. We were when you drafted him, right? But I know you're really big to see him on 5 set, right? 5 wide and see what Joe's got for him. And I think we all are. But like I said, he's just another guy that needs to grow up. And he needs, if that's true, if what she says is true, that's great. That's excellent. Love to hear that. If we can get on the field, then I think you add that extra threat, that dynamic, that, God, it's already unstoppable.
Well, and anything more off the field, you got to move on.
No,
anything else pops up, you're done. So so last thing here. So again, training camp, Wednesday morning, 10 o'clock. Recommendations for those of you that are available and can listen. ESPN 1530, shout out to them. I listen to them every day. They're going to be live from training camp 10 to noon and then all throughout the day, but they're actually going to be at training camp, so be able to give you kind of this. I would recommend listening to that. I'm sure everybody knows that, but that is something new they're doing this year, which I think is going to be a real great, way to kind of observe what's going on. For us, we haven't quite figured out how often during training camp, preseason, all that stuff. I think the goal, once we get into season, is maybe like a Wednesday, Friday, Sunday type of deal, something like that. If Trey Hendrickson signs a contract tonight, even if Josh is asleep, I'll jump back on here and go live and talk about it. But we'll wait for Josh tomorrow in case. But I think, that's goal, like 2-3 times a week, I think, is what we'd like to do.
If it's before midnight tonight, then I win, right?
If it's before midnight tonight, you win, and I will turn another live edition on and add it to the podcast form just so you can gloat. How about that?
All right, yeah, I'm good. I will gloat. It's going to happen. It is going to happen shortly. I really do.
I hope you're right. So any final thoughts? I mean, this has been great. We're about 46 minutes. Thanks for everybody hanging in there with us. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Not really. I mean, appreciate everybody hanging with us here, Jeff. Obviously, this is the second podcast that we've tossed out there, but still getting to know each other and roll around with this. We've known Jeff and I have known each other for a very long time. Both obviously bleed orange and black, and appreciate you guys coming on. Appreciate the views. Appreciate the follows. So
podcast form.
Jeff, do your spiel.
Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeart, anywhere you get your podcast, listen to us, go follow, like, subscribe on YouTube. That's probably the best way. Find us on Instagram, Twitter. We're on a Threads, Green Sky. I made them all. But go, and then if you need to email us, actually,
Jeff, Bengals Theater. Come on, let's go.
Jungle Theater. Theater podcast.
No, brought the wrong one.
But email us. If you have a question, you can also email us at jungletheaterpodcast@gmail.com. Would love to. Yeah. I will say, we already have haters out there. So I love that already.
Oh, throw it at us. Give me one before we're done. Before we get off, I want one hater. Just give it to me and I'll be nice. I promise.
Well, they're not here in the comments. So it's in the, I'll text you. Okay.
That's bad. All right. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. And we'll talk to you when Trey Hendrickson signs.
Yeah. Who day, Jeff? Let's go.
Who day.